Well, this John Black Super Chemist, I think this is part 6. Uh, and I was talking about me being direct and truthful, which is I've been told my entire life is being mean. Uh, so 5 doctors come in now. 5 doctors. I don't know if it was exactly 5. It was like 4 to 6, all female, or at least I think they were all female. You know what I mean? Maybe there was one guy in the back or something. I don't know, but all of them female, right? So I'm asking her. You know, the one main doctor's answering me back. Listen, I need to know, is she 100% internally bleeding, right, in the leg? Because if she's not, I mean, we're making a big mistake here. She has to die. Okay, is there a 100% chance she's going to die? So if she's not, then what, we need to fix the leg, man. What the heck? Uh, so she goes into this flowery thing again, telling me, well, once we get her, you know, at the end of the day here, we're going to take her over to the hospice and we're going to blah, 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 blah. And so I asked her 2 or 3 times, right? So now the third time, I'm like, look, listen to me. I need you, okay? I'm going to ask you a question. And I swear to God, if the words coming out of your mouth, better be the first, you can go on for hours telling me all you want to tell me. I'll be happy to listen. But if you don't start out your answer with yes, no, or I don't know, I'm going to freak out here, okay? Now I'm asking a serious question here, you know what I mean? Is she going to die? Do you know 100% sure that she is internally bleeding? No, we don't know. They're literally taking her over to the hospice to die and not fixing her shattered leg. And what's funny is I've been demonized. What's funny is if this happened here today, I wouldn't even ask. I wouldn't ask. I'm tired of being honest and truthful around women. You know what I mean? I don't even hang out with women no more because I can't take it. Okay? Uh, you lie and you make. See, that's the thing. They've demonized everything that a man is, right? And their biology can't stand. It's not a man that forces a woman to be submissive. It's a woman that forces the man. And you know it goddamn well. All you have to do is ask any woman. The most alpha woman will stay. What do they always say? What does almost 100% of all women say? No matter how manly they are, they say, I refuse. I cannot accept any man that isn't a leader, more dominant than me. Okay? Uh, so, I mean, they're saying they won't accept, they're saying it with their own faces. They can't accept a man unless he's right here where a man and a woman has a place. And they're saying he has to be in his place or I can't. And everyone knows if the guy ain't in his place, she will be horrible to him. Okay? And, but that's the thing. So when the man is in this place, they tell him, "Oh, you can lead. I want a leader." Then he tries to lead, and so he's acting like a man. So they think that they're not. See, they interpret it as not he's acting like a man. They interpret it he's being toxic. He's being hateful. So they demonize him and start yelling at him. Blah blah blah. So what does he do? He moves slightly out of his place. See, this is a man's place. See, this is the biggest trick of gender theory, right? They no, it's not that when they're right in the middle and they're non-binary and they got the metal on their face and tattoos and the short hair and green hair, that kind of non-binary. Okay, yeah, they screw up all the marriages too. But see, the trick is that you don't have to be all the way in the middle. You just have to move, and it's only the man. The man doesn't care about the woman as much being in her place. You know what I mean? It's the woman cannot accept it in no circumstances, man, can she accept it. None. We all know this, okay? She will not accept it. Her biology does not accept it. So he moves slightly out. But the thing is she she wants him to be in that place, right? But society has made her hate men. Hate men. So every time he acts like a man, right, she demonizes him, yells at him. So he moves a little bit over. Now he's not in his place. Now her biology, it's not society now. Now it's her biology yelling at him because she can't respect him because he's not being a man. You know what I mean? So then he moves back over here where he's supposed to be, right? In a man's place. But again, now her biology is like, great, I love that. But see, yeah, as soon as he does anything, makes any decisions or does anything, it's something a man would do. And she's been taught by society and her mother, a single mother and this and that, how that anything a man does is evil. So she starts yelling at him. So then he moves to the non-binary. He just goes back and forth from non-binary or, slightly out of sync where he should be and back to where he should be. And she just demonizes him because of society, and then she demonizes him when he moves because he ain't being a man. See, it's set up it's impossible to win, right? So that's a whole trick of the biggest trick of this gender theory. Everyone thinks it has to do with trans people. Yeah, it does. But it also has to do with single mothers. These single mothers, they're the same exact thing. They don't have, just because they have long hair and they don't look like a man and they look girly and they, just look, they don't have metal over their face and a bunch of tattoos. That don't matter. That's a full-fledged non-binary. But these women are actually non-binary. They are non-binary, okay? Because they have that same mentality, okay? They just don't know they're non-binary. You know what I mean? And then they destroy the marriage and they destroy everything that they can, whatever. Anyways, I got 7.5 minutes here. Let me see if I missed anything. And I want you to think too. My mother is 82 years old. I'm 60, say. And I know she hated men. All women hate men. But to this level, it's just. And what's funny is, like to say, I always wondered, I gave up with my mother trying to show her stuff in the Bible that was evil and getting her to say, hey, yeah, that's evil. She never would. You know what I mean? And after 10 times of doing that over a 10-month period, that's why I stopped doing it. You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, there's no way to override brainwashing. Once you're brainwashed, you can... Doing evil stuff and believing evil stuff is like nothing to these people that are brainwashed. But something did override her brainwashing because she said God was wrong. Her God was wrong. And that men are horrible. And men should never be put in charge. Okay? God was wrong in the Bible when he said, put man in the leadership. Yeah. This is a person who read the Bible 30 to 60 minutes a day, every day for 80 years. Went to church 3, 4, 5 times a week. Okay, and this. So the only thing that overrides brainwashing is better brainwashing. Is what I found out, and that's what I'm getting to. You know what I mean? But it took me all this time to realize that my entire family is basically KKK members. Okay, but not racist against, people of color or whatever. They're racist against men. You know what I mean? But they act just like the KKK. They're just so evil. They can do the, like if you transported you back in the day where, people had slaves in the USA, right? You would see these people being, they're horrible people to the slaves because you can't have slaves and not hate them eventually, because if you don't hate them, then you're like, whoa, man, this is kind of uncool, man. I have a slave here. You know what I mean? Your conscience won't, you know what I mean? So what does your conscience do? Oh, it manipulates reality and makes that slave be, oh, I can't let the black slave, he's a rapist. He'll rape everybody. Oh, he's a murderer. If I let these black people, oh, they're horrible people. You know what I mean? And that's how these women are. They just, and that's why they only, this Gen Z or whatever, even up to like 40, 50 years old, these women are crazy. They're saying that they will only take this top 16%. Yeah, just like if all the white women, if all the women in the world were just white and all the men in the world were black, right? Because I snap my fingers and I have magical powers and they just all disappeared, okay? What do you think would happen with the white supremacist women? They have to have men, right? They ain't going. You won't have kids otherwise, or family or anything. Who are you going to accept? Think about it. Think of that white racist piece of crap back in the day, right? That actually owned slaves, right? These women are only picking the 16% because they're racist pieces of garbage. The same reason why a white supremacist would only pick the top 16% of black people to mate with. You know what I mean? Because they're racist against black people. The same way feminism is not equal rights. Feminism is female supremacy. You know what I mean? It's not. And it fed into this victim ideology the same way with the blacks, right? Then the females, right? Then the LGBT, all suffering with this victim ideology. See, the thing is about victim ideology, there's two sides to the same coin, right? On one side of the coin you have victim ideology, and on the other side you have supremacy. So you can't be infected with victim ideology without moving on to becoming a supremacist. See, that's the trick in it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why they all act like they're supremacists. They all act like they're from the KKK, and everyone else is from black or whatever. Yeah, the blacks look at the whites and think that they're garbage and they're not human, and then they all have this KKK ideology, all of them. But see, it makes them into these supremacists. You know what I mean? So if you're a female supremacist, you can only accept the top 16%. That's why they look. You have a ghetto chick from the projects, that's on welfare with 3 kids, and they look at a man that's making 50 grand a year, 60, 70, 80. They look at a man that makes 90 grand a year. And they're like, I can't settle for that. You know what I mean? They can be a crackhead, homeless out on the street. Yeah, I wouldn't take no man that didn't make no more than 90,000. I'm too good for that. They could have acid thrown on their face and be so ugly it's unreal, but they'll still think that they're better. They're the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to all women, and they will still look down on that man that's in the 96th percentile or the 86th percentile. They only want the top 16%. You know what I mean? And the last thing I forgot to say, when I was talking to my mother in the hospital, I was literally bringing up stats, trying to tell her about this stuff, that how the single mothers. It just spreaded like our whole entire family is non-binary. We're all, no families, all baby daddies, bunch of marriages, all mad, pissed off, can't take any stress. And I'm telling her how 80% of the entire black population, is that they're 80% are born into single mother homes. 41% of the entire population born into single mother homes. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And you have women right now, 40 and under, 1/4 of them are on antidepressants. 1/4 of the female population under 40. The same way with the like black women. Only 1 in 4 black women are going to get married now. That's how they're loaded. 75% of black women don't get married ever. Everyone's just, males under 30, third of them ain't even had sex in a year. A third of them are like virgins. It's ridiculous. Nobody is having families. Everyone hates each other. I'm trying to tell her, and she don't care. She laughs and smirks.